Hey guys, Brett from AMain Hobbies here, and we've got a brand new Mugen MBX8R Eco, the 1/8 scale electric buggy that was built up and completed by one of our guys, and we want to tell you about it. So, first things first, this was built by one of our copywriters, Ed, who has never built an 8 scale buggy kit before, but he has built other kits. So, Ed tells me that before he started building this car, he checked out Adam Drake's installation video that's on Adam Drake's YouTube channel. It goes through how he builds the car and has a lot of good tips. And you're going to hear about some of those right now. So one of the first things that Ed did for the build in getting this thing prepared is he changed out the diff shims per Adam Drake's recommendation. Now these diff shims, the B0767, these are the same thickness shims, but instead of going last over the outdrive, they actually install onto the diff case first. Here you see the diff case, then the shim would slide on, and then the bearing, and then the outdrive. It's kind of hard to illustrate that, but these are recommended by Adam Drake, and it provides just a more secure way to shim the diffs. And then Ed used those shims in this method for each of the diffs. During the build, Ed said he also had to file some of the suspension arms just a little bit. Not that they were tight where the hinge pin goes through the hole, but that when being squished in between the suspension hangers, they were just a little bit tight. So he filed the ends of the suspension arms. He said, especially for the front lower arms, just so that there is less binding. You don't really need to sand them. They will wear in after using the buggy for a bit, but you really do want those suspension arms to be freely moving under their own weight. And this is a good way to make it happen right from the start. Another thing that Ed noted, that building the servo saver assembly, the manual shows that it should have about a 2mm spacing, but even there, it's still a little loose, so it's been tightened more per Adam Drake's recommendation. I think Ed said it's at about 4mm, and Ed said he also Loctited that nut onto the servo saver barrel, just a little Loctite. One thing that's easy to miss when you build the car is the turnbuckle notch, which indicates their thread direction. When you assemble the turnbuckles, you want that notch to be on the same side for all of the locations. It is easy to miss though when you're building the car. Another thing that Ed noted here are the carbon fiber uprates that attach to the rear hubs. There is a direction to them, and they're notched like little zigzag notches. Those notches, if you're building it the kit setup, go towards the inside of the car. Now the last thing that he noted is that getting the servo in with the wire was a little tight inside the car. Ed got it installed by actually removing the wire, because it's a detachable servo wire, from the servo and installing the servo in first, and then he was able to plug in the wire. Now for the setup on this car, Ed's just going with the box stock setup and the included fluids. For the shocks, it includes 550 CST shock fluid for the front and rear. He's got that in there. The diff fluids, he's using 5,000 weight in the front and center, and then 2,000 in the rear diff. The kit also includes 2 front chassis braces. There's a long and a short, depending on how much flex you want out of the chassis. And right now, Ed's configured it with the long chassis brace. Now for the equipment used to finish off the car, Ed's gone with the ProTech 170 SBL steering servo. There's also a Hobby Wing Easy Run Max 8 G2 ESC that comes as part of a combo with a motor, and Ed's picked the 2250 kV motor option. And on that motor is a 15-tooth pinion gear. And behind it, Ed's got a ProTech 30mm aluminum fan. For the battery power, it's the ProTech Shorty 4S 6400 milliamp hour battery pack. This pack was made specifically for these 8 scale electric applications, and it fits perfectly inside this battery box. Now this Max 8 ESC has a programmable ESC, and Ed's bumped it up to 7.4 volts. So the fan is running at high voltage and the servo is running at high voltage also. Now the last item Ed's put on this car to finish it off are going to be the Jetco pre-mounted tires. These are the Dirt Slingers in a super soft tire compound, and they come pre-mounted on these white wheels. Now for the hop-ups and accessories, there are a few on this car. The first is the aluminum steering horn from Mugen. It's clamping, and this is the 25-tooth version. Ed also put on the Mugen aluminum servo saver arm, which is going to be a just a more robust option than the plastic piece that comes with the car. Ed also put on the 1-up 5mm bullet grip plugs that just give you a little bit more meat to grab a hold of. And then lastly, he's added the Avid brass wheel nuts that are a little bit heavier than your standard aluminum wheel nut, so you have a bit of a tuning aid on this unsprung location. And he's got them on the car right now, and you can see they're a closed-end design. One upgrade that Ed says he wants to do in the future is to change out the turnbuckles, which have a hole in them to adjust. Like you put a little screwdriver in there to adjust them that way. He's going to swap them out for something that's more standard, that's got like a hex, so you can adjust them that way. Other than that, pretty nice car. It's really clean. Now we just need to go drive it.